You are listening to the best of the Classic Metal Show podcast. Catch the Classic Metal Show every Saturday from 9 p.m. till 3 a.m. Eastern Time over at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. The following podcast is sponsored by the Pennsylvania Coin-Operated Gaming Hall of Fame and Museum, located in Hopewell Township, Pennsylvania. Over 400 video games and pinball machines there for you to play. It's all vintage. It's all good. So come on out and play it over at the Pennsylvania Coin-Operated Gaming Hall of Fame and Museum, located in Pennsylvania. For more information on the Gaming Hall of Fame, go to www.coinophof.com. And now let's get to it on another edition of the best of the Classic Metal Show.
Well, who was it? Did we have somebody on the show, or I'm just trying to think if I was just talking to somebody that, years ago, tying your music to a product was sacrilege.
Oh, yeah.
But now that's the only way anybody makes any money is they tie their music to a product.
Yeah, well, they do. I mean, dude, I remember, and you probably remember this too. You remember the first time you saw like Led Zeppelin on a Cadillac?
Yeah, it was a Cadillac commercial.
Oh, I was like, I'm done with this fucking band.
Right.
Yeah, I was like, I'm absolutely done with this fucking band.
But
and now,
but
that's another thing.
Yeah, but that all started when Michael Jackson leased the revolution of the Beatles to the Nike thing, and that was like the beginning of all that.
Yeah, but the Beatles were like half the band was dead, so I guess that was okay.
Yeah,
in
but
my mind.
It was the whole sacrilege of prostituting your music for a corporate or commercial product.
Yeah, it just felt like a sellout, but now everybody's doing it.
That's the only way of having any kind of an income with your music, because people aren't buying it, unfortunately, and there isn't any record labels anymore, and there's no sponsorship. So yeah, you gotta sell your music to a product. Dude,
what's funny is today was Record Store Day, right?
I heard that, but I don't know what that means exactly.
It's a day when a lot of bands put out like an individual, like a collectible, trying to get people to go to the record stores that still exist.
Okay.
It's like the one day a year internationally that the bands try to support the industry staying alive.
Okay.
It works. I mean, they Bill Peters showed this picture from Record Den this morning.
Okay, so they're still open.
Oh yeah, they're still open.
Okay,
and there was a line around the block.
Really?
People, because there's the bands do put out some cool product. Like Metallica put out this year. They put out a cassette that was manufactured to look like the original bootleg cassette that they used to pass around of No Life Till Leather.
Okay.
Which is that's obviously going to be a very collectible thing. They only printed like 2,000 of them or something.
Right.
So, it'll be a collectible. And the new Slayer song was on a red vinyl or something. And Foo Fighters were like Dave Grohl was here in town and he played at some record store or something. And so I mean, there's some merit to it, I guess. But the industry as a whole, though, they just got to accept it. It's over.
Yeah.
They have one day that they all, if everybody promotes, they'll sell a couple thousand records, and that's great for the one day. But the rest of the year, they'll sell the same number of records as they did in the one day.
Yeah, I don't think there's a brick and mortar store anywhere near me that I'm aware of.
There's a couple, like the record exchanges are still open here.
Okay.
But I can't remember the last time I went in one, because it's all like video games now. I mean, they do have CDs still all over the place, but who's buying those?
Sure.
I think it's just time to admit it. The industry is dead.
Yeah.
It really is kind of, as far as physical product, no one wants physical product anymore.
Unless you're a collector. Unless you're
old. No kids. Kids do not buy records.
Right.
Overwhelmingly. I mean, as soon as I say that, somebody's going to call, my kid is 16 and owns all of the Bad Company records.
That doesn't mean there isn't an exception to the rule.
Right.
It's just on a general basis.
Yeah. On a general basis, most kids don't even buy albums from like iTunes or whatever.
Sure.
They buy singles. They just buy a song. You know, and as always with the stupid record industry, the record industry's not following along on how it should be. These older bands still need to make records. The young bands, they don't need to make records. You know, Miley Cyrus never needs to record an album. You know, she just needs to throw out a song every so often.
Right.
You know, that's all her dumb fans are going to want.
Exactly.
Or Justin Bieber or whatever. That dude's not selling a bunch of albums. He's selling a bunch of YouTube videos.
Well, pretty much.
You know, so I just think that the business itself, the industry, the one thing that the industry has always failed at and continues to fail at is they try to put it all into one box, and this is how it's all going to work. But you can't do that because more than probably any industry other than the movie industry, the music industry comes in different shapes and sizes, more or less.
Right.
Older fans buy music differently than younger fans do. And people in the middle buy music different than either side of that does. You know, but they don't adjust to that. They just go into one direction and they always fail because no matter how they put out music, they fail half of their audience.
Right.
Anyway, I'm ranting.
No, it's educational since we're kind of talking about educational things with your Pinball Hall of Fame and all the internet access to the history and to the website and all that kind of stuff, which is cool because that's a component I was not aware of at all.
Just another little fun fact of the Pennsylvania Coin-Operated Gaming Hall of Fame.
Well, speaking of that, my buddy, Ron Keel, who is going to be performing at that thing, he threw out the plug for it when he was on Talking Metal with Mark Striegel.
He did. How about that?
Yeah, he threw it out there and, mentioned it, and Mark talked about it a little bit, and talked about Ron's. That's like one of the very few performances that Ron is going to have here this year, because he's gearing up for his big debut over there in South Dakota.
Yeah.
And
Batman's Pawn.
Yeah, that's something that I definitely, once he's up and running, I definitely want you and I to take a road trip out there.
Yeah, we can. I'd love to.
Yeah, I'd like to go out there. Ron said, "Hey, if you show up out here, I'll let you take over the radio station."
Awesome. Well, he better hook us up with a room.
Yeah, no kidding.
I don't want to sleep in my car now.
Right. So Ron threw the plug out there for you, which was pretty cool.